Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our evening edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars Live Feed Spoilers. The nomination ceremony, it hasn't happened yet at the time of this recording, but it's probably about to. We have a pretty good sense as to what is going to happen. We will relay that to you. Also, we now know 2 out of the 3 powers that were apparently found during this BB Basement competition.
Yeah, it was pretty cool that they actually dropped all 3 powers. It wasn't very clear.
Yeah.
Julie didn't say if it was 1 a week for 3 weeks, if it was all 3. Now we know that all 3 have dropped.
And hilariously, at least one of these people think that their power kind of sucks, which I just find funny right away. But we've got a lot to get to because we also have to talk about, is Tyler actually in danger now? Because we have a real sort of moment where people kind of see the light, or do they not see? Well, we'll talk all about it. Before we do, though, if you guys like this video, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more, and support us further by checking those links to our Patreon. Well, a number of different benefits over there in our store, which we have shirts, mugs, other cool stuff. Thank you for all of your support.
Okay, so we'll talk about the powers first. Might
Okay.
as well. Okay, so the people that have won the powers that we know 2 of 3. So we know that Danny has one of the powers and Christmas has the other.
Yeah, I know this will be a real thrill for a lot of the fans of the underdogs in this game at the moment, but if it's any consolation, Danny hates her power just as much as some of you out there probably hate Danny getting the power.
Yeah, probably.
So it sounds like what Danny's power is that over the next few weeks, she can, if she basically has the power to allow someone to be able to play for HOH again, even after they were previously HOH. So let's say, hypothetically, Danny is the next HOH. Usually, she would not be able to compete again right away, but she can play this, and then she would have a chance to therefore be HOH 2 weeks in a row, or someone else if she so chooses.
Yeah, and I mean, this power kind of sucks depending on when you're able to play it. Like, if this power was allowed for the whole game, which it's not, and it was allowed late in the game, yes, this is great. And then if you are back-to-back HOHs, say Danny is HOH, she's allowed to play again, she gets to be HOH again. Once you're near the end of the game, it's better to be able to just do stuff like that, because then you can have a big target on your back and it's okay. But if you're doing it around now, like week 5, like let's say Christmas is HOH now, for some reason Danny wants her to be HOH again next week because she thinks it's going to help Danny, then she can allow her to play again. If she wins again, then, you know, that would put a big target on Christmas.
I love how Julie really hyped up some of this stuff, like it could change or break the entire game as we know it. The power, by the way, that we don't know about, it better be like one of the craziest things that we've ever seen in our entire lives based on the other 2. Because Christmas's power, and we're just, for now, we're taking it at the word of the house guests that are talking about it. It's possible they're lying or whatever else, but we'll pretend like they're telling the truth here.
Christmas told it to Tyler, so she's probably telling the truth.
And this is the blocker power, which basically gives her the ability to, over the next few weeks, to either block herself or someone else from being a replacement nominee at the veto ceremony, which, given that she's already HOH this week, what is she going to need it for now?
Yeah, so it's an all-right power, but it's useless this week.
Yeah, like this one at least, I feel like it has more application. Granted, I don't think that Christmas is going to be a target for the next few weeks. I think Christmas can probably just sit back and she's going to be in like the final 6.
Yeah, probably.
Like, these are powers that are really going to just be like meh for the game. But here is the thing, because this other power is unknown, and I think because there's a lot of like pre-game stuff in the Blob Alliance, aka committee or whatever else, I feel like whoever has this third power may be someone on the outside of that group. And I'm not saying that it is a Devon, I'm not saying that it's a Kevin or whoever else, but I feel like it might be someone who's like, you know, I really may need this. This is a really good power. I don't want to tell anybody until I absolutely have to play it.
Yeah, because, I mean, I feel like if Devon had it or Bailey had it, they would have shared it with each other probably by now. I just but the thing is if it was someone like Tyler has had a power in his past game where he just didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
So that can be a possibility as well.
Yeah, I think Tyler is the one Blob member. I wish I could think of like a really good name for like a part of the Blob, but he is that person I think within it that might not tell anyone if he has it. Can you imagine though what the like Big Brother production office would be like if they're like, all right, game-changing powers, and like the 3 winners are all within the Blob Alliance?
Well, already there's 2, and I'm sure that that's what they were thinking in production. That they were like, you know what? We will put out a mess of powers. We will have 3 powers out there. Somebody from the underdog side is going to win one of these powers. I know it. And so far, we've got Christmas and Danny. The underdogs have still not won.
Yeah, and it's, we've made it clear we're fans of the underdogs, but at the same time you gotta win stuff. I can't blame I can't blame the Blob Alliance for being good in competitions. Like, that would be silly. So
yeah, and at this point we can no longer really blame production for not giving enough chances. They put out 3 powers. That is a lot to put out all at one time. The odds are someone from the underdog should have won some of that.
Maybe they did.
Maybe they did.
We just don't know. But unless someone has a power that affects nominations, which I guess is theoretically possible, the nominations are going to be Da'Vonne and Bayleigh. And this is the thing about Christmas. It does make sense game-wise for her to stick with the Blob Alliance for a little while because she's insulated by a number of people in there and all of that sort of stuff. But I don't think it makes sense for her to stay with them forever until the final 6. It's just... she is so stinking loyal to this alliance, even if they are dysfunctional. This is why I was not that thrilled Christmas was brought back, because she was just so loyal to Paul and that group in 19. It's just, that's not fun, entertaining gameplay, even if it's gameplay that gets her far.
Yeah, it's not entertaining, but it is gameplay that will get her far, because people will be able to trust that what she's saying is true. If she is working with you, she is working with you till the bitter end. So that's the good thing about Christmas, but the boring thing for the rest of us watching.
I think, if I had to guess right now, I think Bayleigh is probably the target of the 2 of them if it stays this way. I think she's probably thought of as more of a competition threat to some degree. I think Da'Vonne may have a few better connections elsewhere, but, granted, we're talking here on a Friday night before the ceremony has even happened. There's a lot of time for things to change.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still also more to come. Obviously, there's still one more power out there. There's still a veto that's going to happen. It is possible then that whoever the replacement would be might be an even bigger target. Someone maybe, unfortunately, like an Ian.
Let's just...
This is all bad. I'm trying to, put a nice coat of paint on this, but there isn't. Listen, we all need to put our hard hats on because someone we like is going home.
I'm probably going to drink later over some of this. Because I have the nightmare thought in my head now. And maybe I'm thinking nightmares because I'm having nightmares about Ovi and the nightmare power. But what if this is a power that allows somebody to change nominations? Let's say Da'Vonne has it, and then Da'Vonne doesn't play it before nominations, and that was her chance to play it.
I feel like Da'Vonne's got to know she's in trouble.
Yeah,
if Da'Vonne has it or Bayleigh has it, I feel like they're going to play it. They have nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is exactly like the nightmare power or anything, even if it is like that. That would be our luck, isn't it? That it would be a power she had to play before nominations and she didn't. I want to believe that we still have drama this week. We did have drama over the past, hour. The feeds were... I'm going to try to sound really hip here for a moment. Brace yourselves, everyone.
Here we go.
The feeds were lit over the past hour or so.
Those feeds slap.
Oh, boy. We are... Okay, let's all watch... Let's just all say, how do you do, fellow kids moments.
That's right, fellow youths.
Okay, so Nicole, Da'Vonne, Danny... they got together in a room. We talked earlier in our afternoon update about how Bayleigh and Danny really went at it. You can check that video. There's a big argument that apparently happened, but there's some notes that are being compared here, and it seems like Da'Vonne, Nicole, and Danny have seemingly all sort of come to a conclusion that one of the sources that was really pushing this narrative of Danny versus Da'Vonne and Bayleigh was Tyler. Mr. Good Game Tyler
Yep.
is finally in a little bit of danger here.
The problem is that Nicole did decide to go and try to talk to Christmas about it. And Nicole did a really good job with it. She's pretty good socially. She is able to deliver information, kind of feel things out. That is one of her strengths. So she did go and talk to Christmas about it, but it doesn't matter because Christmas is loyal to Tyler. So this information is just going to end up circulating back to Tyler. So that's all I got to say about that.
Here is the devil horn situation here, because let's think about it this way, because nobody knows apparently that Christmas and Tyler are as close as they are, which still boggles my mind. But
Crazy.
anyway, let's just say though that Danny also went and told Christmas about this. It was hilarious because Nicole told Christmas about this secret that she couldn't tell anyone about like 2 seconds after she finished talking to Danny and Davon about it. Then, like, Danny comes in at the end of this conversation. Nicole leaves. The moment Nicole leaves, Danny's like, I got something I gotta tell you. And it's just like, what if this situation it's probably not gonna happen, but what if this did end up leading to Danny being a replacement nominee, and ultimately this entire conversation ends up just getting Danny in further trouble because Christmas isn't turning on Tyler.
She's not turning on Tyler, but she is close to Danny, so I hate to pour cold
Yeah, it's probably
water
not
on
happening.
the devil horns here, but I don't see that happening because Tyler himself has also gently suggested Danny as a possible nominee, and that isn't even on Christmas's radar. So I think Danny is going to be safe this week. This stuff that's happening with Tyler right now, I mean, if they can keep the fires going and keep everybody pissed off about it, then maybe by the time we get to the next HOH, if Tyler doesn't win, something can happen. But a lot is happening in the game recently, and people are kind of shifting where their anger is, and everybody's getting irritated at everybody.
Yeah, I don't think this Tyler stuff necessarily matters this week, but I do think it matters. Like, listening to Nicole talk to Christmas, like, you can sort of see that Nicole, like, I do think she is worried about Tyler. I think she used her favorite word to describe him, that if he's capable of something like this, he is scary in the game. So I think she is legitimately worried, and I think Nicole, from what I've been able to gather, I think she does want to keep Davon in particular in the game. And I think without Bailey there, I think she views Davon as someone she could kind of sort of work with to some degree. So I do think that Tyler, moving forward, depending on who the HOH is and depending on whether or not he has a power, like, there might be some trouble for him eventually.
I don't. I think that it's going to be really tough to get Tyler out of this game.
It will.
He's really close with Enzo. He's really close with Christmas. He's got a decent relationship with Cody. I know Nicole and Danny are starting to get a little bit worried, but they have won squadoosh. So they're also in a situation where they haven't been able to really do anything. And that's where we are.
Number one, excellent use of squadoosh.
Thank you.
Nope.
Thank you.
Number
You're
two-
rubbing off on me.
Everyone should use squadoosh. Okay, that's a different story. All right, so the other funniest thing about this, Davon and Danny and Nicole, is like all of them are acting like, we've uncovered this great secret. And then it's like, Nicole goes and says something. Danny goes, then like Davon, right before we get on, she's like, that's it being like, Kevin, I think I may have figured out a way to get Tyler on the block as a replacement nominee.
This all stems back to Christmas playing a decent game. The fact that nobody has figured out that Christmas and Tyler are close, working together, nothing. Nobody knows where Christmas really stands on anything. It is week 5 and no one knows where she stands. Everybody still thinks that they can work Christmas over.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's so, I don't know if Christmas, if she makes it to the end, will get credit for this or not. I guess it depends on who is there with her. But yeah, I mean, as much as I can be annoyed about how she really didn't have to do much at all in this past HOH or anything, she's done a lot right so far this season when it comes to positioning herself. And as frustrating as it is that this Blob Alliance is dominating, she knows that she is so well insulated with a lot of these sort of people. I mean, the nominations are going to happen. I'm sure there's gonna be blowback. Crispin's being way too overdramatic about it. This is not gonna be World War III or anything else like that.
No.
There will probably be maybe a couple arguments, and then that's it. There's still a lot of time to be left. And with that, we'll wrap up. But let us know what you think is going to happen. Give us a like, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.